G'day friends, welcome to day 21 of Inktober 2018. The prompt for today is, this skirt's a shirt and this mop's my top, but I think I'm most pleased with my faux geese headpiece. I think there's a rhyme in there somewhere. Okay, so we're 3 weeks in. I just want to give you a bit of encouragement because we're like officially 3 weeks in. That means, I want to say we only have 1 week left, but I know there's not 4 weeks in every month. I don't know why I always assume that. We have 10 days left, so essentially a week and a half. If you need to simplify to keep yourself going, I would encourage you to do that. Perhaps just put some ink blots on a page and put a cute face on it, call it a day. If you don't have any time, if you because that is something I did want to mention. I think sometimes I put across this false sense of how achievable this might be, but I do want everyone to remember that this is my full-time job, and whilst everyone else is out going and having social lives and going to do 9 to 5 work days and, you know, having families and children, literally I don't experience any of that. This is my full-time job. I've got a couple of cats and I don't have much of a social life right now, so I don't want to put across this false sense of how achievable this might be. This is actually very difficult, and I have never completed this until this was my full-time job. So please take comfort in that. You guys are all doing better than I ever did before I had no excuse not to do it. So now that I'm under the bus, let's just talk about. Was that what I was going to say? Yeah. We've got 10 days left. Oh, if you wanted to simplify something, put some ink blots on a page, draw a cute face on it, that's still going to work. If you have fallen behind a little bit, I really would encourage you to just simplify. But I also wanted to put this out there because this might be true too. If you have gotten everything you need to get out of Inktober, if this is your experience complete and you're completely happy, then I wanted to put out there that I'm actually really happy for you too. I know I don't mention that, but people don't need to do every single thing to get all they need out of it. Some people might have only needed a week of this. Some people might have only needed a couple of days, and I think that is completely fine as well. As long as you're happy, I am happy for you. So let's move on to a question I got today. Oh, actually, I got another question too, before I get to the other one, because it's kind of loaded and I'm trying to simplify it a little bit in my head. The question's not, my answer is. And sorry, I'm still falling apart. I've got a migraine and a sinus problem. It's just, I don't want to whinge, so I'm just going to keep talking. The prompts list, someone asked how that all came about, like how did I think up all of these prompts? To be honest, it was mostly observational from what was going on in my own life. So if I can give you just a little example, the Cherry Blossom monkey dolls, I was watching a documentary on Japan, the snow monkeys in Japan, and I was also thinking about when I spent the spring in Japan, my first time, and so Cherry Blossom and monkey dolls just kind of came up. The whiskers and any kind of cat reference, there must have been a cat around. I have 2 cats, Bianca and Oliver, and they're just nightmares and they're always around, so there's a lot of cat references in these. The thing that, the mop's my top. I was looking for a mop, even though I knew we didn't have one, and we have one of those Swiffer things, and that's what I ended up finding, and I don't know, I was just thinking about a mop, so that was how that happened. The crustaceans is funny. For day 23, the pixie crustaceans, Stella, this is such a long weird story, but Stella had put on a full-on Beyonce medley in the house, and there was a line that was stuck in my head, and it's not a great line from one of her songs, but it referenced Red Lobster, and I was always so against Red Lobster and all the commercials I saw on television, but essentially I was like, well, I can't keep bashing it if I've never tried it, and I really do love seafood, so I tried Red Lobster. Anyway, all of that led to me putting crustaceans in this list. Just a lot of random things, like the Japanese noodles. I was eating ramen. Like, it was a lot of simple stuff. I just think I tried to mix them together in a really weird way, but a lot of it was just observational from what was happening in my life at the point that I was coming up with all of these lists. So, those are the prompts. The question I got from Anya on Instagram. I'm going to leave Anya's Instagram down below. It's at Mrs. Lockwood Loves Letters. She has a beautiful Instagram feed, so if you want to get lost on a beautiful feed today, just head over there and show some love. Anya had slid into the DMs and kind of asked if like, how do you find your style? How do you find that aesthetic? Because she had been looking at some of my my older works compared to my more recent ones, and there's a big difference there, but she said that she was still managing to see that it was a work that I had created. Now, First up, this is all my opinion, so I'm just going to leave it at that. If this doesn't mean anything to you, then that's completely fine. If you have a completely different opinion, that is also completely fine. I'm all about sharing and educating myself, like not you. Me, I would love to get everyone's opinions because I think they really do help you formulate a well-rounded view of certain things. And style is a topic that becomes very sensitive for a lot of people because it seems to really strike a chord with how valid people feel as artists. Now, I think style, first and foremost, for me, I've always believed it was subjective, which means beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but so is style. Style and aesthetic. You know, one person... Okay, I'll just give you an example. I could look at a certain artist's work and think, oh, this is their style. Somebody else could look at it and say, no, this is their style. And we could both have evidence for why that might be true. At the end of the day, that artist might not believe that either one of those things is their style. Maybe they think something completely different is. And what I relate that back to is any kind of, in art history, which I did not pay attention to for like the 3 days I was in art at high school. But Picasso went through a bunch of periods. You know, like his paintings weren't all the same style. They weren't all the same aesthetic throughout his career. It did not make him any less of an artist. It did not make him any less world-renowned. You know, even to this day, that you know, not one style of his art was worth more than another. Like, you go to a gallery and you buy a Picasso, it's just that expensive all around. Not that I would know, but you know what I mean? Like, since the dawn of time, people have always adopted and changed as, you know, in their creativity as they themselves have changed. And what I think it comes down to, and if you're trying to look for it, essentially you already have a style going, you just might not know what that is yet, or maybe no one has told you, oh, this is your style. But I guarantee you, if I went to your Instagram, if I went to have a look through it, I could pick out a bunch of things that I think might be your style based on what I'm seeing. And where that starts to come in is repetition. And repetition is what people start to identify you with, because if they see something enough, if they see you drawing a mermaid with a fish head instead of a fish body, if they see you drawing that enough, they're going to think that you're quirky, that you're a little... like that you like drawing fantastical creatures. Maybe you're always doing it in ink. Maybe they think you only like working in ink, you're an ink artist, or you know, there might be a certain look to it, but people will start to make those connections, and if you do it a lot, that will really solidify it in people's minds. They will think, oh yes, this is intentional, this is what they mean to do, they keep doing it, and that's their style. Do I like that? Yes, I do. Do I not? No, I don't. And you see how your journey goes from there. But at the end of the day, how do you find that? That is all personal. That will all come from inside of you. It all comes down to what you like and what you enjoy. I think a lot of us as artists and creatives will sit down to please ourselves. We won't sit down to make ourselves feel any worse. Now, you don't have to be happy every time you're creating, but what you have to feel at the end of it is some kind of healthy expression. Whether that is venting through something really aggressive or really sad or really emotional for you, at the end of that, your goal is to be happy about it. So as we're creating, I think we pull in all of these inspirations and references that might help us get to that. I think it's a subconscious process where we're just looking for things to do that might make us enjoy ourselves a little bit and might make us leave the table feeling better than when we sat down. Even if we were happy, maybe we want to leave more happy or feeling more accomplished or satisfied. So in that process of finding all of that stuff, you start to gravitate towards people that are doing things you might want to do, or you start gravitating towards someone that might be charismatic and that you can really get on board with them. Even if you don't like their art per se, maybe it's they themselves that are inspiring you. Maybe that, just the way that they communicate to you makes you want to be a little different in your creativity. You might not be doing their aesthetic, but you're taking their advice. And I think the best thing that you can do, especially in this modern age of social media, is really take advantage. Like, sit at the buffet and taste everything. And that's what I do. I think I make it my mission to do that, because there's stuff out there that I haven't tried yet that I know I could love, or there might be stuff out there that I don't know that I hate yet. But until I've tried it all, I won't really have an understanding of it. And at the end of the day, as you do all of this, as you keep doing it, you keep pulling inspiration or direct reference from someone, which I might add is completely fine, no matter what the Instagram police or the YouTube police have to say about it. If you're pulling reference and inspiration to learn, there is nothing wrong with that. Now, stealing and selling is a different thing, but I personally haven't been a victim of any of that from like the whole time I've been on YouTube. Like I haven't had any massive issues with that, none that would be notable anyway, so please don't think that that's as much of a problem as it is. I know it is a problem, and I'm not going to invalidate that, but I don't think that should be something that scares you from trying or learning. People will just be out there making you upset for trying a tutorial because maybe they didn't have success trying that tutorial. I'm not quite sure why people do it, to be honest. But if there's a free tutorial out on YouTube, or if you've paid for an online class and you want to learn everything you can from that, do it. Take it all. There's a reason that creator put that video out there, whether you could access it for free or buy it or whatever. They want you to learn from that because otherwise why would they do it, right? I guess money, but I don't know. It's still a lot of work for some money. Either way, people do that so that you might learn, and I know that for myself, if you can just take anything you want from these videos, even direct copy them so that you might learn something, you're going to start to pick apart what you do and don't like. And as you try this, you might try something else. You might try a different creator. You might try their tutorial, or you know. But as you do it, you kind of look at it and you think, oh, okay, well, I like the face on that, but I don't like the body. So is there a body out there that I want to try? Like, who does bodies that I like to look at? And that will be different. I might choose this body, you might choose a different body, and you'll move along and you'll find whatever you like. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you have a big mix of all the things you've tried and you've liked. Then you'll start repeating those things. If you liked it once, it just stands to reason that you'll like it again, so you try it again. You might try it in a different medium. You might try, you know, you might finally have found a look of a, you know, like a face that you like, and you've only ever done it in pencil. Maybe you want to try watercolor, and so people will start to see like, oh, these are all the things that they like. It's that type of an eye, it's that type of a lip, it's this kind of a look, it's this subject matter. Subject matter is a big thing as well. I don't think you find too many people that cross too many different realms when it comes to subject matter. I like to try and push myself outside, but a lot of it is still very whimsical, very folktale, very fantastical, very fairy tale like. I never really get into anything serious or real, so my subject matter is always usually quite light. Even that in itself is a style, is an aesthetic, that idea influences that aesthetic. So what I would encourage you to do if you are looking to find it, it is just grab all those references, grab all that information, bounce from creator to creator to creator, even creators you think you might not like, even people that do work that doesn't necessarily resonate with you, or there's something a little off about it, but you want to try it anyway. Tim Burton was one of those things for me where I actually thought there is just probably nothing that I could take into my work, because it's going to start looking a little goth, it's going to start looking a little emo, I don't want that, that's not me, like I'm not going to do that, that was very me 2001, but not now. So when you're pulling all this stuff, even try stuff that you think you might not have success with, and guaranteed you will pull something out of it. You'll either find what you do like or what you don't like, and if you're lucky enough to find stuff that you do enjoy, you will take that with you. You will take what you learned and you will start applying it to the mix of things you already like, and I feel like as you keep doing that, as you keep grabbing more things to enjoy and putting it in your tool belt, you'll start to develop a very specific sense of a style, of an aesthetic. It might even be a certain color palette that you just can't let go of for a whole season. It's all that good stuff, and at the end of the day, it's more of a subconscious thing. If you like it, you're going to do it just because you like it. You don't even have to think about it at the end of the day. So yeah, I just encourage you to keep looking, keep trying, keep copying, keep experimenting, keep playing with it all. Keep playing and finding all the stuff that you like and mixing it together like a big old cake. You're the chef, you have all the ingredients. Some of them will make your cake taste a little sour, some of them will make it taste amazing. You might have found the perfect recipe for a cake, but maybe 2 months you get sick of it and you want to ice it differently, or you want to put chocolate chips in there. It's the same thing. So I would just encourage you to keep going with it, and ultimately it's that repetition of all the things that you like to do that will start to build a style for you, because you won't even be able to help it. You just like it so much, you just keep doing it. So I hope that answered your question. Again, I'm going to leave Anya's Instagram handle down below in the description. Go check it out. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Bye!